Hey, Mama, and happy Thursday. Welcome back to another bonus episode. Today, we're talking all about postpartum fitness. And I really want to share this topic because, with my experience, after I had my baby girl, I felt so weak. Like, I felt like I was in this body cast and all my skeletal muscles were just gone. Like, I looked at my leg and my calves, I was like, where did all my muscle go? Am I ever going to feel strong again? Am I ever going to get my muscle back? And if you were thinking the same thing, I am here to tell you, Mama, that you will. You will feel strong again. In today's episode, I'm going to be sharing 3 powerful fixes to help you reconnect with your core and your pelvic floor so that you can rebuild strength from the inside and out. Use functional movements that support daily mom life without draining your energy. We don't got time for any of that. We have lots to do, and we need to be able to support our mom life, everything that we do as busy moms. And we're also going to talk about how to fuel your body with the right nutrition to feel strong, nourished, and energized. Grab a notebook and pen. Let's get started. Feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, and like you've lost yourself in the postpartum chaos, struggling to rebuild your strength, heal your core, and feel confident in your body again? Hey Mama, I'm Val, a functional sports dietitian, postpartum fitness coach, and a mama who understands exactly what you're going through. Welcome to the Strong and Nourished Mama podcast, where I help busy moms like you regain your energy, rebuild strength, and feel amazing through simple, science-backed nutrition and fitness strategies. If you're ready to go from depleted to strong, nourished, and unstoppable, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Imagine feeling strong, supported, and confident in your body again, to where you can pick up your little one without back pain, doing workouts without leaking or worrying like, oh my gosh, am I going to pee my pants again? And finally seeing real progress, not only in your core strength, but your entire physical strength. That's exactly what we are working on inside my free 45-minute Restore Your Core Bootcamp. If you are ready to stop guessing and start healing, join me for this live event where I'm going to be walking you through the first steps to rebuilding your core the right way. No more guesswork, Mama. Grab your spot now at wellnessbyval.com/bootcamp. If you can't attend live, you are still going to be getting the resources, the recording, as well as access to all of the amazing bonuses. I cannot wait to see you there. It is happening on Wednesday, April 16th. To sign up, go to wellnessbyval.com/bootcamp. We are back with another bonus episode, and the boot camp is next week. Oh my gosh, it's already here. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait, and I don't want you to miss out. So be sure to sign up. Again, it's wellnessbyval.com/bootcamp. Today, we are talking all about postpartum fitness, or really just fitness after you have a baby, because this can be 12 months postpartum, or it could be 2 to 3 plus years postpartum. And I want to talk about this because it's often that we hear, ever since I had my baby, I haven't been able to get back to the gym or get back to the fitness routine that I had. I haven't had time for the workouts that I used to do, so I just haven't been doing anything. Because when you become a mom, especially for the first time, it's a whole nother world. So it's really difficult to integrate mom life, how to be a mom, learning, and then everything else that you have in your life, and especially what you want to continue, some of the habits that you want to continue, such as going to the gym or exercising, moving your body. So it's really common that we hear that, like, ever since I had my baby, blank. So let's talk about fitness, movement, exercise, and how we can really fit this into our routine, and really what that looks like postpartum. Again, whether you're 12 months postpartum, 3 years postpartum, 10 years postpartum, whatever it is. It's so common to feel weak after you have your baby and throughout the postpartum period. Your body went through major changes, and rebuilding strength takes time. Building up muscle takes time, like 1 to 2 years after having your baby, and that's okay. Like, it's common that women will say, hey, like 2 years, 3 years after I had my baby is when I started to really notice changes, after staying consistent, of course, with a variety of things, with exercise being one of them. I really started to notice changes in strength or aesthetics, the way you looked, or even the way you felt. Like, man, I feel totally different now. And it's because it takes time. Don't forget that nutritionally, especially, it takes like 2 to 3 years to fully recover after having a baby. So let's give ourselves some grace. It takes time. That's okay. And for some, it may take less. For others, it may take a little bit more. And I was just talking to a best friend a couple weeks ago. She has a 4-month-old, and she was saying how she feels so weak. She's like, oh my gosh, like I don't have any muscle. And I'm like, that's exactly how I felt after I had my baby girl. But now I'm 19 months postpartum and I am stronger. I can genuinely say that I am stronger now than before I was pregnant. I just did my body composition and a strength test last week. I did this. I'm going to talk about this in a future episode, but I did this like 10 months postpartum and then a year postpartum. And then it's been it's been more than half a year since I've done it again. And my muscle has been gradually increasing since I had my baby girl, both my lean body mass and my skeletal mass, which again, I'll talk about in a future episode, and my strength too. The tests that I performed, I'm getting stronger. And as I mentioned, I am stronger now than I was before I got pregnant. Like, how cool is that? I think it's also mom strength. It's like once you become a mom, there's like this totally other type of strength that is within you that you have as a mom. So let's talk about the reality of postpartum weakness. Why do postpartum moms feel weak? Why do we feel weak after we have our baby? Again, whether it's 1 year, 3+ years. It's because of those core and pelvic floor changes that occur during pregnancy and then, of course, after you give birth. The core in your pelvic floor is going to be a really important focus, everything that we've been talking about, and especially what we're going to be diving into deeper in the free boot camp. But you don't need this just for things that you do at the gym. You need it for literally everything. You need it for doing laundry, doing the dishes, sweeping, walking your dog, changing diapers while reaching behind you to get something. Like you need it for all of your activities of daily living. Otherwise, we're going to hurt ourselves. We've talked about low back pain. We've talked about hip pain, and we can make things worse, and it can take even longer for our recovery. Now, there's going to be muscle loss from pregnancy and the postpartum journey in that recovery process. It is so easy to lose muscle anytime, but especially from pregnancy and postpartum, and then especially as we women get into perimenopause, the 7 to 10 years before menopause. It's really, really easy to lose muscle, and it's pretty hard to gain muscle. It takes work. It takes some discipline. In fact, muscle mass decreases 3 to 8% every decade after the age of 30. So every 10 years, muscle mass is going to decrease 3 to 8% if we are not actively aware of what we're doing. If we're not making sure we're consistent with our nutrition, we're getting enough sleep, we're doing what we need to in the gym, progressive overload. And then when we get older into that perimenopause transition, and even after menopause, then we have sarcopenia, which is the involuntary loss of muscle mass. And that can be very dangerous for our overall health, but just functionality and how we're feeling. We won't be able to do our activities of daily living. Those are going to be really difficult. Sitting, like getting up off the toilet, that takes strength. Walking around the house or walking in the grocery store, holding groceries and putting them away, that takes strength. That takes endurance. So we do want to be mindful of that. Core and pelvic floor changes are going to be important, and it is really easy to lose muscle mass, skeletal muscle mass, lean body mass from being pregnant and in that postpartum recovery process. We also may feel weak just because of the lack of time and energy to focus on fitness. You have your baby, especially if you have multiple kids, you're working, you have your family. That's a lot of responsibilities. And usually we put our fitness, our health, our nutrition, everything for us to the side. Like, I need to take care of the kids and I need to focus on them, which is important. You obviously have to. But in order to take care of your kids, in order to be the best mom, wife, partner, person, you have to take care of yourself first. You need to make sure that you're getting enough sleep. You're focusing on movement. It doesn't have to be like you're training for an Olympic competition, lifting competition, or a CrossFit competition, or a marathon. We don't have to do anything intense. It's just we need to be able to focus on movement, fitness, exercise that's going to support what we are asking of our body. Holding your 1-year-old, holding your toddler, and chasing the kids around, that takes energy, that takes fitness. So the good news is you can rebuild strength safely and effectively. So let's talk about 3 fixes you can focus on today. Number 1, reconnect with your core and pelvic floor. Again, we have to go back to the basics. We have to go to the foundations because without this, it's going to be really difficult to be able to do anything else. Your core and your pelvic floor are going to be key to feeling strong again, because when they are strong, when they're working together and they're able to contract and relax, you're going to be able to do everything that you want to do without hurting yourself. So without the core and the pelvic floor strength, it's going to be really hard to build skeletal muscle mass and strength elsewhere, and it's going to make it super easy to get hurt or lead to unneeded symptoms or unwanted symptoms like leaking, the incontinence, or just, man, my back is always aching. What's up with that? So we have to focus on it. That's why it's going to be important. And we can start with simple breath work and gentle core activation exercises. We're going to talk about this and we're going to really practice it in the boot camp because there's a specific way of breathing that is going to help with core activation. So some things that you can do today can be diaphragmatic belly breathing, where you're going to actually keep your pelvic floor relaxed on the inhale and the exhale. And then there's some pelvic floor activation where you're actually using your diaphragm as well as your abdominal muscles, the transverse abdominis, as we've talked about in previous episodes. You're going to use those muscles along with the pelvic floor muscles to be able to activate and contract. In the boot camp, we are going to be talking about how you actually do this. We're going to be putting everything into practice. So be sure to sign up to be able to get all of those details. So number one, we have to reconnect with our core and our pelvic floor. And then fix number two, let's strengthen with functional movements. Especially when we're in the first year postpartum, you can't just jump back into what you were doing either during pregnancy or even before pregnancy. Now, I'm not saying that you can never do those things or that it's never appropriate to do those things when you're postpartum, especially within the first 6 months. I'm just saying that we need to focus on building the foundations with our functional movements, our core and our pelvic floor included, before you do whatever you were doing before you got pregnant, because that's going to really make sure that you have the strength to be able to do harder things. So what are foundational movements? Foundational movements are squats, hip hinges, rows, these movements that are going to be helpful for activities of daily living. So if you are sitting on the floor with your baby is doing tummy time, floor time, you could be doing different exercises as well. But let's say you pick up baby to stand up. That is a lot of work, and how we do it, our form, our breathing techniques, how we're holding baby is going to influence what we do in the gym. And so that's where we want to start with those squats, hip hinges, rows, and it's also going to help you just be stronger with lifting the diaper bag, with the car seat, and especially as your little one grows, because they get pretty heavy. I was walking home with my toddler from the park, and my house is not far from the park at all, and I picked her up and I'm holding her. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm tired, I'm out of breath, my bicep is starting to hurt, I need to switch sides. But I need to make sure that I'm doing it in a position where I'm not going to negatively impact my posture to where my low back is going to start to hurt later. So the foundational movements are going to be really, really key. And 10 to 15 minutes of the right movements can make a big difference. You don't need a lot of time. You don't need a fancy gym. You don't need 30, 60 plus minutes. You can just do 10 minutes of these functional movements in a routine that makes sense and at a rep range that makes sense. We also want to focus on our form, and we talk about that in the boot camp. I had a recurring reminder at 2 p.m. every day when I was postpartum in that first year to do my foundational movements. And if I couldn't do it at 2 p.m., I would do it either earlier or later because I wanted to make sure I was getting those in. Especially after having your baby, when you are reconnecting with your body, your new body, your nervous system, your muscles, some of the movements can feel kind of awkward and weird. Like I remember squatting, and like squatting was just foreign. Deadlifting was really foreign to me. I've mentioned that before, but I really had to slow things down. I had to use some props and some help to be able to really focus on my form, making sure that my breathing was good. I was protecting my core and my low back, that I was contracting and relaxing the pelvic floor at the appropriate times. And that really made it easy to not only just do things around the house, but when I went back to the gym and started adding in barbell back squats, deadlifts, Bulgarian squats, pull-ups, like all of these other movements, those foundational movements were very, very key. So we'll talk about this more in the boot camp as well. And finally, Fix number 3 is fueling your body for energy and strength. We have to be able to have enough energy for everything that we're doing from the moment we wake up to the moment we go to bed. And we have to have the strength for it. Otherwise, we're going to be getting hurt. And we don't want that. Especially when you think decades down the line, when you're in your 70s, 80s, 90s. If you fall, you want to be able to get back up. We don't want to fall and break something because that is actually very dangerous when we're an older adult. So we have to fuel our body for energy and strength. So nutrition plays a huge role in rebuilding strength. After we have our baby, we feel weak and we want to be able to increase muscle mass, rebuild muscle mass, skeletal muscle mass, lean body mass. And to do that, we need nutrition. And then, of course, postpartum, you need that to heal and recover. So nutrition is going to play a role, not only just your protein, but making sure you're eating enough calories, making sure, especially if you're breastfeeding, making sure you're getting the appropriate nutrients, especially if you're breastfeeding, because that's going to baby. And all of these things are going to help with recovery, healing, but also to promote energy and to promote strength. If I'm not eating enough energy, calories, then that's going to negatively impact my energy, how I'm interacting with my family, how I'm working, how I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, and it's going to negatively impact my workouts. I won't be able to lift as much, or I won't be able to sustain that workout, and I won't be able to increase strength. We want to focus on adequate amount of protein. Everyone's individual needs are going to be different. But a good general recommendation, as we've talked about before in previous episodes, is that 30 to 40 grams of pork protein. First, see how much protein you're currently consuming and then slowly work up from there. We also want to make sure we're integrating healthy fats because this is going to be anti-inflammatory. It's going to help with recovery, and fat is going to help you absorb your fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. And we cannot forget about hydration. The muscles need water. Your entire body needs water. And if we're dehydrated, that's going to negatively impact your recovery, and that's going to negatively impact your performance. So going into a workout dehydrated is going to significantly decrease your performance, and it's going to increase the risk of getting hurt. If you're breastfeeding, hydration is going to be even more important. So we can't forget about water and electrolytes. Let's do a quick recap. After having our baby, we feel weak. We have a loss of muscle mass. Every decade, we lose about 3 to 8% of our muscle mass. It's going to decrease in that percentage range every decade, and we want to be able to mitigate that as much as we can. As a postpartum mom, whether you're 12 months postpartum, 6 years postpartum, 20 years postpartum, we can still focus on these 3 fixes. Number 1, reconnecting with your core and your pelvic floor. Number 2, strengthening with functional movements that are going to support not only what you're doing in the gym, building muscle mass, but also your activities of daily living. And then fix number 3, fueling your body for energy and strength. We have to make sure we're getting in the appropriate nutrition. This is super individualized. If you attend the boot camp next Wednesday on the 16th, I'm going to be sharing a really, really fun bonus related to nutrition. So I don't want to give anything away. I just want to let you know, attend the Restore Your Core Bootcamp, because we're also going to be diving into the diaphragmatic breathing, the stability breathing, really how to connect with your core and your pelvic floor, because you may not know how to connect with your core and your pelvic floor. Maybe you do, and then once you try what you learn in the boot camp, you're like, whoa, I was doing it totally wrong, or I was doing it opposite of what I learned. So attend the boot camp. It's on Wednesday, April 16th at 12 p.m. Mountain Time. Sign up at wellnessbyval.com/bootcamp. I cannot wait to see you there. And again, if you can't attend live or if something comes up, you're still going to get access to the recording, the resources, and the bonuses. Remember, mama, that healing and building your strength and building up your muscle mass, it takes time. Every small step, every little habit and behavior that you're integrating over time, over the years, they matter. And they make for big, big results. And it's going to be super exciting once you look back, when you stay consistent with everything that you're doing, the foundations with your core and your pelvic floor, your nutrition, staying consistent with sleep and the gym, and all of the things that we have control over as best as we can. Looking back, you're going to be like, whoa, I was able to increase strength. I was able to increase my muscle mass. I feel great. I'm able to run around and chase my little ones without being out of breath and without hurting my back or peeing my pants. So give yourself grace. It takes time, and I am so excited to be on this journey with you. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay strong and nourished. Hey mama, I hope you loved today's episode. If it resonated with you, would you please take 30 seconds to share it with another mom, a mom who's looking to make healthy eating and exercise easier? Because we need that. And if you haven't yet, I would be so grateful if you could leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts. It truly means the world to me and helps the show reach more amazing moms like you. All right, time to chase my toddler around. Stay strong and nourished, and I will be back on Monday with another episode. Talk soon.